Imagine waking up tomorrow with no electricity, no phone, no running water, no alarm clock, just the sound of roosters and the rising sun. This was daily life in America 300 years ago. Around the early 1700s, daily life in America looked completely different from today. No glowing screens, no supermarkets, no cars waiting outside your home. Survival depended on hard work, skill, and the rhythm of nature. From sunrise to sunset, every moment of the day had a purpose. Because without modern technology, even simple tasks required time and effort. Let's step back in time and experience what an ordinary day was like for an American living 300 years ago. There were no alarm clocks. People woke up when the sun rose, usually around 5 or 6 in the morning, depending on the season. Homes were cold in winter. Without central heating, fireplaces were the only source of warmth. The first task of the day was to restart the fire if it had gone out overnight. Fire meant warmth, fire meant cooking, fire meant survival. Children helped collect firewood, while adults prepared for the day's work. Breakfast was simple but filling. Families ate foods like bread made from corn or wheat, porridge, eggs. Leftover meat from the night before coffee and tea were common when available, but sometimes water or milk was the only drink. There were no packaged foods. Everything was homemade, grown, hunted, or prepared by hand. Most Americans lived on farms. Daily chores included feeding animals, milking cows, collecting eggs, working in the fields, repairing fences or tools. Men often handled heavy outdoor labor, while women worked both inside and outside the home. Children worked too, helping with farming, cooking, and cleaning. School wasn't always an option. Survival came first. Inside the home, work never stopped. Women often cooked meals over open fires, made soap from animal fat, sewed and repaired clothing, washed laundry by hand. Laundry day could take hours. Clothes were scrubbed in wooden tubs and hung outside to dry. There were no washing machines. Everything required physical effort. Traveling to a nearby town meant walking, riding a horse, using a wagon. Even short trips could take hours. Roads were rough and muddy, and bad weather could make travel dangerous. People planned trips carefully because travel wasn't easy. Lunch was usually leftovers or simple foods. Bread, cheese, vegetables, salted meat meals provided the energy needed to continue working until sunset. Afternoons were spent tending crops, building structures, fixing tools, preparing food for storage. Food preservation was essential. Families smoked meat, dried fruits, and stored vegetables in root cellars to survive winter months. When the sun began to set, work slowed down. Without electricity, daylight determined productivity. Candles and oil lamps were used unsparingly because they were expensive and time-consuming to make. Most activities stopped once darkness fell. Dinner was the largest meal of the day. Families gathered to eat foods like stews, roasted meat, cornbread, vegetables. Meals were eaten together, one of the few times families could relax. There was no TV or internet. Evenings were spent telling stories, playing music, reading by candlelight, talking with family members. Community gatherings and dances were popular social events. Entertainment came from people, not devices. People went to bed early, often just a few hours after sunset. Thick blankets and shared beds kept families warm in winter. Sleep followed the natural cycle of night and day. With no streetlights or city glow, the night sky was incredible. Stars filled the darkness in ways we rarely see today. The Milky Way was bright and clear. Nighttime wasn't filled with artificial light, it was filled with silence. Life was harder physically, but communities were close. Neighbors helped one another with harvests, building homes, sharing food. Survival depended on teamwork. An ordinary day in America 300 years ago required strength, patience, and skill. People didn't rely on machines, they relied on themselves and each other. Every meal was earned, every mile was walked, every task required effort. If you had to live just one day like this, would you make it? Tell me in the comments below.